Hello, hello. All right. Week 2. Week bloody 2.
Yeah.
Well, I realized that last week we didn't actually introduce ourselves. So maybe
Right.
we should do a little introduction. I'll go
Mm-hmm.
first. Hi, I'm Liz. I have been an avid watcher of The Bachelor for about 12 years now. One time I calculated it, and I have spent 8 weeks of my life watching or consuming Bachelor content. And so I would consider myself an expert on the subject. And just, stoked to talk about it every week with other people that are similarly inclined.
Oh my goodness. 8 weeks. That's wild. Okay, well, I'm Anna, and I have spent approximately 5 minutes watching The Bachelor. And decided I can't do this. I can't watch this. But I love Liz's recaps and I love Karen's commentary. So even though Karen can't be with us this week, I'm still looking forward to hearing about what's happening and reacting to it.
Yeah. And she'll be back next week. So we will have the full team completely up and running by then. But you know what? It's early in the season. So if there's any time for someone to take a holiday, that's it. Shall we begin?
Yes. Tell me what happened this week.
Oh, what didn't happen this week, Anna? What a roller coaster. I will begin.
Okay.
So, night 1 has happened. We've seen the first batch of ladies go home. Everyone's settling in. They've had a night there. They're all, rolling out of bed the next day. They don't really know when the dates are going to begin, except if you've prepared properly, you do know. You know that dates can happen at any time, any place, any time, and you just always need to be prepared. So, this is not what happens to the first lady who gets called on a date. Brie gets the first date card.
Brie. I'm trying to remember who she is.
Brie was the first person to get out of the limo as well, actually. She was the really short one.
Brie. Oh, okay. Okay, Brie. I have a visual.
Yes. Brie gets the first date. And what does she say? She said, "Oh no, I'm wearing my worst outfit."
Why bring a worst outfit? Why not just bring all 10 out of 10 outfits?
Thank you so much for understanding the logic. If you're doing it right, which we're at a time where you can't really go into The Bachelor and not kind of realize what you're getting into because you just don't get far enough in the casting process. You don't bring bad outfits. You don't wear bad outfits. You just can't be playing with fire like that.
Wait, okay, and was the outfit actually bad? Or was it like one of those things like, oh no, it's my worst outfit, and it's still like an amazing outfit?
It was just like a chill day at home outfit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Also,
super terrible about it, but
I mean, I personally would never want to be with someone who doesn't think I'm like hot as fuck, even in my chill at home outfit. Like, I mean,
exactly.
Sorry if this is too forward, but isn't it when we're chilling at home that like anything more interesting would happen? You know what I mean? Just saying.
You said it.
I said it.
Well, I agree. And also, one of the best power moves I ever saw on The Bachelor was when Astrid came out of the limo wearing jeans and a flannel. She was like, "I'm not really a gown gal."
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And it was awesome. And she made it far. So, I agree. Anyway, what is the date? The date was they went quad biking. And it's not that interesting because when they're on the quad bikes, it's very loud and they can't speak to each other, which is not a great idea for a date.
Yeah.
Because you can't really speak. And then he flipped her quad bike, which is so rude. Also a bit
He
dangerous.
didn't flip it on purpose, did he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he thought it'd be cute and like flirty.
Wait, maybe I don't know
Not
what a quad
cute.
bike is. What's a quad bike?
I don't know.
Oh, a four-wheeler?
Yeah, four-wheeler.
That's so funny. You guys call them quad bikes.
What do you call
Okay,
a quad bike?
wait. Those are really big. How did he flip one of those?
In the mud or something, he like...
That's hella rude. That's dangerous.
Right, and even if she is wearing her worst outfit, you don't want to ruin her worst outfit.
Yeah.
Bad move. Bad move.
Wow. I was really hoping I would grow to like, what's his name? Matt more?
Matt James.
Matt James.
I like him, and I'll tell you the reasons why as we move through the episode. But
okay.
Yeah. So that happens, and she seems weirdly okay with it. And then they're like, "Oh, we're so muddy. Oh, we've got to go. Let's go clean up." And so they find a hot tub that is just in the middle of the woods.
Perfect.
It's handy, for sure. But there's a problem, and the problem is they've not got any wood for the wood burning hot tub.
So it's a cold tub.
Do? Well, there's a log and a tiny, tiny little hatchet. And then Matt James proceeds to... the hot tub's not hot yet, but he takes off his shirt like he's getting ready to go in. He's a 6'5" guy, and he picks up his tiny little hatchet and chops the wood. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. He's got a great set of abs, and I'm not upset that I get to look at them for a little bit more. But
perfect.
At least give him a full-size axe like a fucking human being.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if I were on this date, I probably would have been like, I want to turn at the hatchet.
True. Exactly. Well, Bree didn't get involved.
Okay.
She stood there and just watched it all happen. They had their hot tub moment. To be honest, it takes a long time for that much water to heat up, especially just from a fire.
That's such a good point.
We still don't have any footage of anything that they talked about, which makes me really curious about the potential in their relationship, you know?
Right. Yeah. Because I feel, oh my God, that would be such an awkward time waiting if you weren't talking about anything interesting.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But also I've just had a thought that probably it was already hot and they were just like, we haven't had a shirtless shot in like a couple of hours.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
I would just like to add, I think I would be an excellent Bachelor producer. And if science ever doesn't work out for me, I'm so going for it. And I also think, because I know the game so well, I think I would be really good at it.
I think you would too. You have like the perfect balance of like analysis and creativity to be like, this is what people are going to want. And like, this is how to make it interesting. Oh my God, it'd be so good.
Thanks so much. Thanks for that.
If only you weren't such also a great scientist.
Oh my God, these compliments keep them coming.
Of course.
Back to Matt and Bree's date.
Mm-hmm.
That was the date. Oh, Matt did this thing where he was like, "Sorry for not protecting your kid." He's like directly addressing Bree's mum through the camera lens in his little like interview in the moment kind of thing.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Especially, don't bring my mom into a hot tub. Come on, honey, no.
Right. Yeah. So that's what happened there. Nothing hugely noteworthy about their date. Any questions? at this point.
Well, okay, I mean, my one lingering question is why was this man thinking about this woman's mom in the hut? I don't even understand how that crossed his mind.
Well, we don't know what they talk about, but maybe she's a real mum's girl and just talked about her mum the whole time. Because we didn't see their conversation.
Oh,
And
okay.
maybe he just talked. Maybe she just kept on being like, "I love my mum. I love my mum so much." And then he was like, "Man, better do something about that." Maybe.
But see, then they should have kept that in because now it's just weird. They shouldn't. Okay, well, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And I would say asking about family on a first date, I think that's a great way to get to know someone. And like get to know if you like the person, but they've got a lot of family baggage. I feel like that's a good thing to know.
Mm-hmm.
I try to be upfront with I have lots of family baggage, so if you can't handle that, pack your bags.
Okay, we're back to Victoria. Now, do you remember? Why don't you just throw at me what you remember about Queen Victoria from last week?
Oh, Queen Victoria. Okay, so she's not the one with the vibrator. Is she tall?
She's quite tall, yeah.
Okay, and she was carried in by the men.
Yes, this is Victoria.
Okay,
beautiful work on that memory.
Thanks.
Yeah, Queen Victoria. We keep getting flashbacks to her while Bree and Matt are on their date together, and Queen Victoria is not happy that he's on a date with someone else, which is confusing because that's literally the whole premise of the show.
Okay.
So
glad you said it because that's what I was thinking.
So why we would have an issue with it, I don't really know. But she did. Okay. And she got a lot of screen time. So if that's what she's going for, then that's good news. She just doesn't look like she's got it together. She seems to be like spiraling and freaking out, and a lot of like talking one-on-one to the other girls and be like, isn't it weird that he's on a date with someone else already? Like, this is crazy. Like, his and my relationship's the strongest for sure. Da, 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 da. And yeah.
What?
Just some kind of Victoria, because the Victoria drama picks up a lot later in the evening, and we'll get
picks up.
You don't even know the half of it yet.
Oh no.
Yeah, this is why I don't remember the beginning of the episode so well, because the end of the episode just was so wild. Yes, at the end of the date, Bree and Matt have a little kiss. There's some fireworks, and then the rest of the girls at the mansion are like, that means she got the rose, which is interesting because this is the first time we've sort of seen in a Bachelor episode that the other women are aware of what the different cues mean, because there's a pattern. There's a pattern in the way the production does things. So there's always one date that has fireworks, and the fireworks only go off if that person got the rose. And the fact that the ladies at the mansion are talking about that is interesting because it means they know the game that they're in and they know the situation that they're in. Other thing to note is on a one-on-one date, if you don't get the rose, you get sent home.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So there's usually 3 dates in a week. There's 2 one-on-one dates, and then there's 1 group date. And on the group date, on each of these dates, there's a rose up for grabs. So that means that person is safe and will stay for the next week.
Oh.
But on the one-on-one date, if you don't get the rose, you get sent home. But on the group date, if you don't get the rose, you're fine.
Okay. How many people are typically on the group dates?
Well, this time there were like 15, which was crazy. The group date starts off as a Bachelor favorite, which is where they have a photographer and they're taking photos in wedding attire. So the women put on a wedding dress and the man puts on a tuxedo, and they take photos together as if it's their wedding day. Mind you, they've only had about 30 seconds of conversation to this point.
I'm just trying to imagine if like you had just met a person and you're like, okay, so we met our first date. I'm thinking Wedding photo shoot? Like, oh my God, that would be a wild first date.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh my God. Okay.
So,
Okay. Wow.
but also they find out that this is the case, and then instead of being like, here's your dress to all the ladies, they make them like fight for it. Like they're all on racks. And then the ladies have to go in there and like find their dress, pick it out, like compete with each other to get the dress that they want the best and the like veil and everything, which is already a silly start to the date, but it gets crazier. Because really, there's not much to be said for the first part of the date, which is where they're actually taking photos, except for when Victoria just swans on through and just interrupts. She like keeps on standing in front of other people's photos and being like, this is the royal wedding. And then making royalty jokes and being stupid. I know I said last week that I was really excited to see what she does this season. I changed my mind. I'm tired of it. So
Oof.
that's where we're at. Then the second half of the group date, Chris Harrison, host extraordinaire, walks in and is like, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to play a game. And he gives them all paint and some purses. And I still don't really know what the game was. And then he said, the only rule is there are no rules. And then they were just running around in beautiful white dresses with paint and whacking each other with purses. And it was just chaos. And there was no purpose to it. I think it was maybe like a capture the flag kind of thing, but I don't know. Couldn't tell you from the viewing experience of it. And then the winning team got extra time with Matt that evening, but how you be the winning team in a game that has no rules and no objective, I don't really know.
Meanwhile, I'm here with my bisexual ass being like, I get to throw paint at beautiful women in beautiful dresses. Forget the man. That sounds like a great game. Sign me up.
And then we have another one-on-one date. And this one-on-one date is with Sarah. Do you remember
Not
Sarah
Victoria?
from last week? Oh, and believe me, she was not pleased.
Okay, you said Sarah? Yeah. There's a Sarah?
Yeah, this is Sarah.
Sarah. Ooh, she's cute. Okay. A broadcast journalist from San Diego, California.
I listened to another podcast. It's called Game of Roses. It's another Bachelor recap podcast. They do a lot of statistics and a lot of analysis of gameplay. And they have coined the term the professional era. So this is kind of what I refer to when I say like the girls know what they're getting into. They know when they're back in the mansion that they see the fireworks, they know what that means because they've seen it and they know what they're doing. And like, it's not just a happy fluke that, you know, a family member nominated them and then they were on The Bachelor. No. It's intentional and it's a decision that they are going to do the game.
Gotcha.
And so Sarah enters the one-on-one with some of the best technique I've ever seen. She just crushes it. So there's two parts of a one-on-one date. Usually there's like an activity during the day and then there's like an evening portion. So usually you do something a bit fun, a bit outdoorsy, and then you get changed into a cocktail dress and then you have dinner. And that's the evening portion. So their one-on-one date started, they go in a plane together. This is another one where you can't really talk too much because it's very noisy. But what you can do, and what Matt did do, is koala onto her really tight. He's a big human, and they were sitting in the back of a plane, and he just like burrowed into her for the whole time that they were up in the plane. It was kind of awkward to watch. I didn't love it.
Nice.
And it becomes clear the few little like step away conversations that they do have that the producers have told him that there's something that he needs to know about Sarah's dad, but Sarah's not ready to talk about it yet. The thing is that he has ALS and that she's a carer for him pretty much full time. And obviously that's quite a heavy thing to share. He keeps calling her dad Pops, which you can't really nickname someone else's dad.
No.
Yeah, this just inappropriate inclusion of the parents happening in both
Yeah,
of
oh
them.
my God, you're right. First it was the mom, now it's Pops.
So he's like, so what about your pops? What about your pops? That's what he keeps asking. It's like, he's my dad, you know? Just anyway, just very weird. But she does something which is so clever, which is that she says, you know, like my family, like there's complicated stuff in my family. She outlines the walls that she has in the first portion of the date to lead into her taking them down in the evening portion of the date. She sets up her story arc, and she knows it's all going to happen in one episode, and she knows what she's doing, and she sets up the story arc so that you can see it in one clean, beautiful episode. And it's just such good work as a contestant on this show.
Wow. Yeah. That's interesting. It's almost like a form of playing hard to get of like, no, you can't have that you can't have that information. But then you get that like intrigue of the playing hard to get, but then you also get the no, let's share like a very vulnerable moment. And I will actually, I've decided I will share that with you. Wow.
That's it. Because the thing is, she always knew she was going to share it that day. And oh my gosh, I'm just so impressed. They had a really good time. They had this chat. He offers to, if she's okay with it, to pray for her family and for his health, her dad's health. Which again is another entry of Christianity. We talked about it a little bit last week, and it continues this week. I didn't know if maybe it was a one-off in the first episode, but it doesn't seem to be. It's in the forefront in a way that it hasn't been in previous seasons that I've seen. I'd be curious to hear if you have any thoughts and reflections on that and why that might be happening this season.
Oh, well, I mean, definitely seems like playing into some sort of respectability politics of like, if we're going to bring in a black bachelor, we have to make sure he's palatable to the white audience. And it definitely sounds like an intentional choice, which I think is kind of fishy. I don't know. I hope that it's genuine on his part, that like it really is an important part of his life and it's not something that like the producers are pushing. I don't get warm and fuzzies about it, let's put it that way, but I'm willing to see where it goes this season.
Okay. No, I totally agree with you around the why, and it's the playing I don't want to, the word that comes to mind is like stepping stone into a more diverse cast. We need, like, he's definitely, it's great that they have a black lead, but he's someone who's so clearly aligned with those more traditional aspects of the show. So he's a good lean into that direction without going like full total progressive challenging to the audience kind of cast.
Right.
Okay, well, yes, so he offers to pray for her dad and she said yes, and she doesn't say anything specifically about being religious, but at some point she does say the word, I felt called to become a carer for my dad. And feeling called for me indicates that religious. Would you say that that's a fair?
I would say that word in particular is used a lot in Christianity as like a calling. If nothing else, it's definitely like a spiritual term, if nothing else.
Well, then they're on the same page. she lets him know subtly. He feels good because he's been able to do that for her in a way that feels. And you know what else he does that I really liked? He asks how he can support her.
That is the first time I've heard something where I'm like, that's yes, that is attractive. That's 10 out of 10 what I would want from a partner. That's awesome.
Yeah. And he just, and this is the first time I've actually seen this on The Bachelor too, that he's done this not so sort of expertly as in this situation, but he just asks. Like, he doesn't know these women, and it's clear that he doesn't know these women, and he doesn't pretend that he does. He just asks the questions, and it's nice to see, refreshing.
Yeah, I do love that. It's asking questions is so much less scary than you think it is. I feel like in my experience, it's been a lot less scary to be honest with people, especially in relationships. Like, not everything is a huge deal. Sometimes you can just ask, like, hey, did you like that? Or like, hey, can we do this? Or hey, can you not do that, please?
Just asking. It's beautiful. I really enjoy it. He's very respectful. Like, there have been a couple of times, especially with the Christianity stuff, I don't know that it's reasonable for him to I don't know that it's respectful for him to put everyone in a situation where he's praying for them, especially as I expect some of the women aren't religious or the same kind of religious that he is. But look, otherwise, other than for that context, he's really been very good to watch and very good in how he's conducting himself and asking lots of questions and supporting and empathizing with the women. I enjoy it a lot. And then we get to the drama part of the whole episode. So those dates, they were kind of like, in a normal episode, that would be it. That would be the bulk of it done.
Yeah.
Not this time. We have a cocktail party. Now, are you familiar with the concept of the cocktail party?
I mean, I know what a cocktail party is. But in the context of The Bachelor, no, I have no idea.
Okay, so a cocktail party is a really extended cocktail party that happens directly before the rose ceremony for that week.
That's stressful.
So it's the women's like final opportunity to have some time to have some conversation to convince him to keep them there. So you're right. Stresses are high. Everyone's looking bloody gorgeous, so stunning, because they've really turned it on, especially if they didn't get on the group date, which 10 maybe of them didn't get on the group date, because there are 32 women this season. Even though we've had an 18-person strong group date, not everyone got time.
Yeah.
So this is their final chance. And you know, people have chats with Matt, and I'll tell you about a couple of notable ones, and then I'll tell you about the actual thing that I really want to talk to you about.
Okay.
Abigail, who we know had the first kiss and the first impression rose last week, she had the perfect interaction with him this week. She didn't say anything about like, oh, I was bummed I wasn't on a date. She said, I missed you, and I thought we should do this thing where I give you a signal. So when you see me across the room and I do the signal, you know that I'm thinking about you. And then you can have one for me too, and I know that you're thinking about me. So she was like, I'm gonna like play with my earring, and then that's how you know I'm thinking about you. And he said he was gonna tap his nose, and that's how she would know he was thinking about her. And it was short and sweet and didn't require much of him, didn't imply any jealousy. Beautiful work, Abigail.
Abigail, smooth mother trucker. That's amazing.
Yes. So they had their one-on-one time, and it was very sweet and very short and just absolutely solidified the start that they'd already had. A handful of other girls got some time, and then Victoria reemerges from the ashes. And she sits down with Matt, and goes, like, I get insecure sometimes too. Like, I'm, like, I know I give off this like perfect persona and everything, but like I get insecure sometimes too. And like, there's just there's a lot of like toxic energy in this house.
Wait, Victoria says that?
Victoria says this
A honey bun.
to Matt. And yes. And I would just like to hear from you the aspects of that make it so clear that it was not a good move to do that.
Okay, let's just give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she genuinely, in her heart of hearts, believed that there was toxic energy in the house, and that it was something that needed to be addressed, and not just let me see how I can like plant suspicion in this man's mind that every other woman or has the potential to be like this toxic villain, because that is what it sounds like. But let's give her the benefit of the doubt, say it's not that. Then as an adult, as a proper functioning human being, you should bring it up with the people in the house, not some guy that doesn't even live there. So
right.
that's a no from me. That shows very poor emotional intelligence. It's not a cute look. We'll put it that way.
It's not cute. It's not cute at all. You're right. Yeah. And then she says that, and then so Matt asked if there was like something in particular that he should know about, which is the right question to ask. I would ask that question too in that situation. Then she says, yes, it's all from Marilyn. Marilyn's really rude and she's just toxic.
Who?
Fair enough, yes, because this is the first time we actually see Marilyn.
Yeah.
All season. This is the first thing we see.
Okay.
And it turns out that yesterday.
Marilyn just looks like the kind of person that wouldn't be up for dealing with Victoria's shit. So, yeah, I can see how Victoria.
And she is not. Turns out what's happened is that the other day, as I said at the beginning of the episode, when Victoria was like, my relationship's better than everyone else's, I don't understand why he's on a date with someone else. At that time, Marilyn had said, or something along the lines of, I just want to pick your brain and understand you better. Like a little bit snipey, maybe, like not the kindest way to sort of be like, I want to understand you, like how can I help you in the situation, I can tell you're struggling. It was a little bit rude, but also Victoria sucks, so she
I was gonna say,
really gets a pass.
Given everything I've heard, that almost sounds like almost like a charitable response. Like deep down I'd be like, oh my god, shut up, bitch. Like, don't you know we're all feeling kind of insecure and unsure? Like, I don't know, do some yoga, go for a walk. Like, why are you bringing this energy to us and being like, wow, I really want to understand how your mind is working. I can see how that's passive aggressive, but also that curiosity that does end up how we get to know people and how we end up getting to empathize with people. So it's really kind of I don't know, that's a pretty smart move. Good for Marilyn.
I agree. And so this is what has set Victoria off on her rampage. And then so Matt is like, well, I need to have a talk to Marilyn if you say she's toxic. And then so Marilyn sits down with Matt, and then Matt's like, well, I've heard from Victoria that you guys are having some trouble, that there's like beef between you two, and I'd like to hear from you, like what's your perspective on that situation. And Marilyn goes like, oh man, I'm not the kind of person to get involved in drama. Like I feel really frustrated that I have to defend myself in this situation. I said this thing, I could see how it was maybe taken the wrong way, but like I didn't, I'm just kind of done with it, really, is the impression that you get from that. And then after the one time, Matt goes, well, that's giving me a lot to think about. I'm going to have to take some time. So he goes off to sort of deliberate. And then Marilyn goes over to Victoria and is like, hey, like, I think we should have a talk about this.
Yeah.
Can I sit down? And Victoria goes, no. And Marilyn's like, well, okay, like, I'd like to, maybe we can go outside where it's a bit quieter and we can have a chat. And Victoria goes like, I don't want to go with you. It's fucking freezing out there. And then Marilyn goes, well, like, okay, can I sit next to you and we can have a chat? And then she was like, you can sit there and I'll sit here. And so it was just this whole like very difficult confrontation thing that was happening. And then so she sits down and Marilyn goes, look, I'm really sorry that what I said made you feel like I was being toxic to you. I don't want you to feel like that. I just I just was genuinely curious about what was going through your head, because like, this is the situation we're in. This is just what happened. And then Victoria goes, I accept your apology, but, and then just starts verbally abusing her. And it was terrible. And Marilyn just sits there very calmly, very quietly, and then says like, look, I'm sure if we slow down and calmly chat, we can find some common ground and move forward from this. And Victoria goes, I am just not really interested in that. I don't really want to find common ground with you.
Okay. Well, I mean, love that she's being honest. Great.
Yeah.
Did everything she can. Victoria doesn't want to find common ground. Cool. Peace. See you later.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Obviously, incredibly intense music is playing in the background.
Oh my gosh.
Then we enter the rose ceremony.
Yeah.
All the girls are lined up on their little podiums, ready to receive their roses. And then Sarah passes out. Dun, dun, dun.
What?
Yeah. She just faints from the stress of it all. And then she goes and then she's off in the corner and she's like, I can't see. And then the screen goes black. To be continued.
What? Wait, so wait, okay, hold on. So we don't even get to find out who goes home? Look.
Not yet. It's been a real journey, hasn't it?
That I care more about your recaps than the actual show, because after the year that everyone has had of like having their plans put off and having to wait for a vaccine and having to wait for our dipshit president to get out of office, to make people wait to find out who goes home, that is just cruel and unusual. That is adding insult to injury. Oh my God. The producers are really... Forget God testing us. The producers of The Bachelor are testing us.
Aren't they just? Aren't they just? So yeah, that's where we're at.
Wow.
I know. What a big week.
Wow. Well, I hope Sarah's okay, like medically. I hope she recovers. She seems like a very intelligent individual, and
I'm sure she is.
Marilyn, who's that other person who I said like I would love to be? Yes, Maggie. Who's a person who I almost just think is like too cool to end up with The Bachelor. Marilyn has now like entered that realm of like, she's just such a bad bitch. Like, it's hard for me to, I don't know, but wow. Okay. All right. This has given me things to think about. Okay.
One thing actually that I read this week, totally unconfirmed, people reckon that Victoria's a plant by the production.
Okay. Yeah. That would make sense. So
yeah,
I guess to wrap up, I'm kind of interested after this week, who do you think the top 4 are?
Abigail, Sarah. I still think Piper could have a good shot at it. I said this last week because we only saw a second of her, but she got the first rose in the rose ceremony this week, and I think that means something. So I think Piper is going to be a slow burn, but maybe a quiet hero.
Okay.
And Rachel, of course, Rachel, who was so moved by the prayer last week. So those are my top 4. Do you have a top 4?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I do just kind of want to see how far Katie makes it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see, I think I'm still curious to see how Anna does. Yeah, and I want to see how far MJ makes it. I don't know if she's gonna make it to the top 4, but
Yeah, I agree with you. She's not top 4 material, but she's top 10 for sure.
I think they're gonna send Marilyn home. I think Victoria is like too interesting to give up, so they're
Me
gonna make
too.
her stay.
I think so too.
No. Wow.
What else are they going to do? Looking forward to it. What a ride.
Oh my goodness. Wait, have they ever done that before where they're like, wait to see next week?
Yes, it is the worst. I hate it. They love a cliffhanger. It used to be like a nice, neat episode. You finish the rose ceremony and then you pick it up again next week. Not anymore. They figured out how to clickbait you, hook you in. Yeah,
So fun.
there we go. And we'll see you next week for another episode of The Bachelor TLDR.